Hang on.
Don't worry about it.
No, I'm pretty worried about it, actually.
Mm.
What is this?
No, don't worry about that. It's a feature.
No, it's a terrible feature. A while back, I tried to repair this DS Lite. Didn't really go my way, and I gave up. I'll link that video at the end, but today we're gonna finish the job. Last time where we left off, the digitizer didn't want to calibrate. Oh, that's an angle. Look at that jolt. You guys gotta stop me from this. When we're done with this one, we're then gonna go ahead and do a second one because I don't learn lessons. So, obviously, I still need some practice with these, and I've got a stack of them to ruin. Let's see what we learn. I am gonna do one thing, I really shouldn't, but I'm just gonna... Don't tell anybody. I just kinda wanna know if somebody, not me, but if somebody did that, how does that compare? It's really not all that different. I don't know, man. I have learned some lessons from the last time that we worked on this. So we're doing a few things different this time. So one of the main things that I picked up on my previous excursion is that my gloves were definitely hurting me more than they were helping me. So we are not going to wear the gloves unless I'm doing something where I need to for my skin. Who did that? I did these wrong? I did these wrong. So you can see that this spring is up top. I was really struggling with these last time. It's because I had the springs backwards. I actually need to be switched between these two. That's on me. I'm a little stupid. Man, we did so many things wrong. Okay, so now you can see right there is our digitizer cable. Need to flip this up and remove that. Cable itself looks okay, so I don't think I damaged the cable. Well, I mean, who knows, honestly, man, have you met me? But I don't think anything that I could have done to that cable is what ruined our lives. Now all we need to do is free up the screen. Very careful. I love all these ribbon cables equally. And I'm gonna go ahead and free the screen completely, and we can finish this away from the shell. All right, this is what we are left with. The bottom screen of the DS is made up of a few different components. Right here, all this silver is actually an LCD. But then there's a clear layer that we can see. You can see it 10 times better when a spudger points at it. So this clear layer right here is called the digitizer. This thing is what actually registers the touch. Finally, on the outside, we have this bezel. And this bezel is just for show. We just need to separate these three layers. And I'm gonna do that with a variety of pry tools. Now here's where things get interesting, because I genuinely believed that underneath this, this had a clear plastic layer. I thought that that was all like one thing. And we can see very clearly this layer right here. So there's a bubble between this and the glass below it. I thought that only that was the digitizer. And I've since been informed that it starts down here where this black line is. The black line is actually the adhesive. And we can see that they're just slightly off center. That's about what you want. You want them slightly off center. So I missed some tricks, but more importantly, when I removed that other digitizer, you guys are gonna hate to hear this. I removed it from here. This little layer right here, I lifted that off. Pretty sure means that that entire other panel will forever be dead now. At least that digitizer will be. Which is neat, because the LCD was already bad, so at least they match now. Okay, let's do the scary thing and pry this off. I just want to quadruple check the replacement digitizer that I have is, in fact, as thick as I think it is. It would be really upsetting to me to find out that I have done this wrong again. Now we just pry in here in a way that just feels so comfortable and natural. Oh, you see that? Okay, we'll go this way. Wow, it is Not super fond of the idea of coming up from down here, but we're good. I'm just trying to be extra careful because, you know, there's other glass I care about here. All right, so that is the LCD layer. This is the digitizer. This is the thing that I believe has gone bad and needs to be replaced. It's also plastic. I just would have thought that would have been glass. I don't know if I need to remove this black stuff, this adhesive. We're going to. I'm here, you know. I do know that I shouldn't be leaving absolutely anything at all on the LCD. And there's all kinds of stuff on it, which is so great. Okay, now I just want to get all of this stuff off. Okay, hold it like that, you can kind of see just all the debris that's on the screen. And oh, great, a little bit of glue residue. Good job, me. That's gotta go. I'm gonna take a cloth and just make sure.
Okay, so here's the deal. Do not do this.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to hit this with alcohol, which is so fun for me. So what's happening is I'm getting that streaking right there. Yeah, that's from glue, because all that adhesive around the edge is just enough to ruin my life, of course. So let's start right here. And I'll find out after the fact that this has also ruined this LCD, I'm sure. That'll be a fun fact for me. If you're watching this as a guide for some reason, which you should not be, I'll tell you, I've watched plenty of people who actually know what they're doing do this, and they aren't cleaning this the way that I am. This is not a necessary step from what I found.
Alright, fellas. Your boy's an idiot. There's a reason that I haven't come across other folks cleaning the LCD like this, and it's not real difficult to figure out. Using any kind of liquid on an LCD isn't great. Just like other liquids, isopropyl alcohol gets between the layers of an LCD. You might jump to the conclusion that IPA is a safe alternative since it evaporates faster than other liquids. You would be terribly wrong. IPA has a special talent. If it gets between the LCD layers, it'll start eating the adhesive. See, that isn't really the kind of thing that we're looking for on this. From what I understand, the layers of an LCD like to touch. That seems to me like the kind of reason that you would put adhesive here. Let's say that you're really careful with your IPA on an LCD. You don't let it drip down the sides because you weren't dropped on your head by your sister when you were 8 months old, unlike someone else we know. It'd be safe then, right? Wrong! Some LCDs have an anti-glare coating that we want on there, or even a special coating on touchscreens because of something to do with hand oils. I don't know, man. Look, I had to move on from this hyperfixation at some point, so the point is, this is not a guide. Just do better than me. It's not real hard.
I do believe we're good. So now we need to be very careful to get nothing else on this. We're gonna have to act with a little bit of urgency here and get this out. All right, now one side is back, one side is front. Okay, so this is the back. And this really does need to be lined up pretty dang good from my understanding. Right about a millimeter off. So I haven't pressed it into place. I've just kind of dropped it about where I think it needs to go. I think that is pretty dang good. Now we'll reassemble. So if we look right here, you can see this brown tab on either side. That's supposed to be seated all the way. And you can actually pull on them with your fingernails. Oh, that's so much easier. There we go. So that's what it looks like when it's properly seated. And you didn't kink up the cable the way that I did last time. That is wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Okay. So now we can see that the spring that's going to face the console is lower than the one that's on the inside of the console. I hope I explained that well. I don't know, you guys will probably see it again later. Yes, and then the spring rests right in there. This is going much better, guys. It's going a little too smooth. Very nice. What's up with this right here? Hang on.
Don't worry about it.
No, I'm pretty worried about it, actually.
No.
What is this?
No, don't worry about that. It's a feature.
No, it's a terrible feature.
Okay, so you agree that it's a feature?
Well, yeah, I'm not doing this again. Yeah, it's a feature. Why is it there?
I don't know. Can we go to Costco now?
Yeah, let me test this.
Do you have games on your DS?
I have this
Can I play games?
Call of Duty that actually has a bite mark on. This is your Call of Duty. Did Strider eat this?
You know...
Okay, well, it's calibrated. It just, you know, does that now. I mean, you don't even notice it unless you look at it. So I would...
Just don't look at it.
Yeah, I would just recommend you don't look at it. Okay, that's done. Goodbye.
So that corner is one way an LCD can look when the glue has been damaged. Most examples I found of damage to these looked way different, so it was pretty confusing to me why my lines looked straight. But come to realize later, they weren't straight at all, and there were actually several lines. I thought it was just like one crease, but no. It really looks similar to the way that the glue residue gets left behind on a Game Boy when you peel up the polarizer. So I'm really confident that that's what's happened here, is the IPA has just ate some of the glue. I figured we should try some games to see how much this really impacted things before just chucking the LCD out and swapping it into the fresh one. I also decided to share some knowledge here about authentic Pokemon Gen 4 and 5 carts having this thing where if you shine a light through them, you can see like this purplish, reddish tint. A few other random games have this feature too, so it's not a surefire way to spot an authentic copy. But that's not even what this video is about. After testing a few games, I decided it didn't impact gameplay at all, since you really only see it if you're creeping on it from the bottom, and I don't see me lining up the perfect 8-ball shot on this, so I'm not too worried about it for a device that's just going to go in my personal collection. So, long story short, don't use liquids on LCDs unless you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, maybe start a YouTube channel. Try picking a generic name, like Matt, so people don't wonder who would give their kid a name like... Anyways, let's go see what's up with that pink DS now. Bet that repair is going to be super satisfying.
So the reason I chose pink one is it doesn't have a screen fault like everything else, which I find interesting. We've already done one screen fault. Number two, oh. This better have a screen protector. It doesn't. It has a screen fault. Oh no! All right, whatever, let's talk about this. Okay, so this thing powers on just fine. Oh man, that is so noticeable. It even has the dust cover for the Game Boy cover, for the Game Boy slot. Comes with its own stylus. Why did I say this didn't have a screen fault? It has two bad screens. Oh wow. Fellas. Do you see this? Oh no. I mean, look, would you say it's broken if I'm able to play a whole game? I don't know. Now we slot that in. And we see if it reads. Yeah, and it doesn't read the Game Boy game. Here's what we gotta do on this one. Gotta clean the Game Boy cartridge. Reader, that's gotta happen. It's really dirty, so we just gotta clean it up. Bottom screen digitizer needs to be dealt with. And the top screen has this air bubble that I need to figure out. Let's open this thing up, see what we find. Set this stuff off to the side. I am missing one pink rubber. Oh, what a bummer. I'm just gonna warn you guys, if I discover some epoxy is holding this in place, the sounds that I'm gonna make are just not gonna be very good. No epoxy at all this time. You don't actually have to remove this, but it will be in the way later, so I'm gonna take it off. Oh man, that's super gross, okay. We don't need to touch that. Our liquid damage indicator's fine. Our switch is springy. This switch is maybe a little dirty. But aside from that, I think the board itself is okay. So maybe it just needs to be cleaned. I mean, it's had this dust cover in there the entire time. So the other thing that could happen is maybe the pins got a little bent just from constantly making contact with the dust cover. All I need to do is remove these four things without damaging anything. Good for the adults that managed to do this without destroying these, because I think I'm about to destroy them. I am without a doubt going to destroy them with the utmost certainty. That is not great. I have destroyed that one as well. Okay, so we are just accepting the fact that I'm going to destroy these and order new ones. And now, that is bent. Oh no. And now we see how much I damaged it. I think we did better this time. There's nothing on there until I apply pressure. I think I'll research this before we do anything drastic, and for now we'll go ahead and clean the shell up.
To clean up the shell, I used hot tap water with dish soap. This thing cleaned up so nice. Big fan of the way that the DS Lites look when they aren't staring me down from the corner in neglect. The last DS that I worked on had some of y'all letting me know that I didn't need to disassemble the top screen shell for the repair. But this is a thing I just do on all my consoles, especially handhelds. Think about how gross the average 10-year-old is, and then remember that half of them are nastier than that. You should feel gross not disassembling and deep cleaning your used consoles. Gamer cheese will be the origin grounds for the next stage of intelligent life if we don't start neutralizing whatever they put in Moist Mound or whatever the kids are drinking these days. Anyways, let's start dealing with these scratches all over this thing now that it doesn't want to stick to the wall anymore. I figured I would continue experimenting with scratch removal and used a magic eraser again to see if it wanted to do the hard work for me, since this thing had some pretty gnarly burn marks on it rather than just the normal scratching. For those of you who don't know, to polish scratches, you actually use different materials and compounds to sand the area around them down to be level with the scratch. Or at least smooth the edges of the scratch enough so that it doesn't capture light the same way. That's where magic eraser could come in. See, a magic eraser is melamine foam, which is just a really fine abrasive. Think of it as something like 1 to 5,000 grit sandpaper. And I know that's a really massive range, but that's just because environmental variables play a really huge part here. Things like how wet the surface is, how much pressure you use, how your relationship with your father is, and how it was manufactured all have a really big impact here. So with all that being said, it's really inconsistent for this type of application. In my case, my dad is an Eagles fan, so when it left me with more scratches than when I started, that's about what I expected. If you live somewhere where a football is something you kick, change the Eagles to Arsenal. Anyways, I'd say you probably don't want to make this uglier and should consider using something purpose-built for polishing if you want it to actually look good. I decided that's the kind of thing that I'm after, and I switched over to Nova's plastic polish. Normally I try to skip over the first step since it's really time consuming and I'm lazy, but I think we can get a really good polish today if I just do it. So I started by following the directions, and I hit the scratches that I was trying to remove at a 90-degree angle to them. While following directions and getting good results was pretty cash money of me, I have no idea where the perpendicular line to a blob is, so I just went with the tried and true approach of dumping more chemical on my problems. That meant I also had to work in a much larger area to get this stuff to ever buff out. After a few passes, it actually had done quite a bit more than I anticipated, so I moved back to the scratches we targeted in the beginning and stuck with the same process of using a ton of compound and covering a less targeted surface area. This worked way better than anything I expected, and my arthritis was letting me know that I couldn't do this all day, so I felt it was good enough for me to move on to other bits of the shell. For the most part, there were no differences here, but the bottom shell did get some extra caution, so I didn't nuke the lettering on it. I feel like I remember seeing a dude do that one time, but I deleted the footage before you could see it, so his identity is going to remain a mystery. Once I had polished everything with the deep scratch compound, I moved on to the fine scratch remover. This stuff comes with a crazy twist. They let you go in circles. Crazy tech. I hit the shell with this a couple times until I decided I was happy enough. Finally, I could move on to the last step, which is their protectant. This cleans off some residue, but it also provides some protection against future fogging, dust, and static. Each time I use this stuff, I feel like I'm doing better. Keep in mind I suck at everything, so this may not apply to the chads down in the comments, but this stuff without a doubt has a learning curve for the fellas like me. Definitely the best I feel like I've done so far. Now that the outside is all shiny, we can make the inside suck less. Or more if the power switch wants to start looking at me funny again.
Okay, so now we're gonna figure this thing out, because the bubble's gone, which isn't the kind of thing I expected. What I've learned, I'm pretty sure I understand what's going on here.
So if the lens touches the LCD, you get a bubble since they're touching. They can touch because someone placed it on weird, the plastic lens got warped, or if the screen gets damaged. I don't think I worked it out until I started editing this, but that massive dent on the back of this LCD probably just pushed the screen forward just enough to cause this, but not enough to actually break the LCD.
Since it's not there currently, does that mean I can get away with it and just reassemble? Or when I reassemble, will the bubble come back? Let's try reassembling. If the bubble comes back, what I'll do is remove the lens and reapply it. And, all right, so we don't have a bubble on this currently. There we go. Yeah, I don't see an air bubble. I think it's okay. To be sure, let me tighten it down and just see what happens. And still no bubble. Okay, there's now a bubble. And then the moment it gets touched again, it comes back. I mean, I can get it to go away now. I say we leave it, man. Yeah. I say I don't mess with that screen any. I say that now, then I reassemble completely and it won't go away, probably. I'm using a soft bristle toothbrush because I don't want to rip any components off the board, which is a thing I could probably do really well if I wanted to. In addition to that, I'm using a very potent isopropyl alcohol. I'm using 99% isopropyl alcohol. That way it dries very quickly and shouldn't cause any damage to the board. And now we're gonna really just play with these pins for a bit. We're gonna do more for the pins in a bit, but that's a good start. Drip some alcohol into the switches and then just work those back and forth a little bit. I'm hoping the pins are just dirty and I might be able to get them cleaned up with the protector that they include, the dust cover that they include. Now with this reassembled, what we're gonna do is take some deoxit and spread this across these Game Boy pins. And also do the same on here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just insert this and remove it and insert it and remove it. We're just gonna do that a few times. I'm not gonna bother drying that, it's okay. I've just got an entire replacement LCD that we're gonna use that has the digitizer already installed. You can just order the digitizer and save some money because like the LCD is still good here, but in my case, I don't have any digitizer sitting around, but I do have some of these sitting around. Do I need to be worried about ESD here? This looks like it actually is dangerous. Well, Mama didn't raise a smart boy. Is it easier to go ahead and route these first? Maybe. So let's drop this right on its face. I'm sorry, what all is this going to be contacting? Should this not be? This doesn't feel right. This feels like I'm about to kill this board, does it not? Guys, I don't feel good about this. I can't get over this, so yeah, I can't get over this. There's no way that this is right. This has to short something if I try to run it this way. I can't imagine it doesn't. So we're just gonna take some Kapton tape and throw that on the back. And then I'll feel better. And if I'm wrong and like this was unnecessary, then cool. I would rather be wrong and know that my device is gonna work. The foam that went there was so much thicker than what these air bubbles will end up being. I'm not gonna lose any sleep over that. Then we can take this excess and use it accordingly. Okay, I think that's good. Go ahead and route this guy now, because I know he's frustrating. And I just want to get that out of the way. And by frustrating, I meant probably the easiest part of the entire repair. What's up? No, I mean, it's just me, the goat, calling about your vehicle's extended warranty. The stiff bit is too long, so that is what it is. Let's move on to the next frustrating thing. That's what's up. That's what's up. I was hoping that that's how that went. And now, nope, stay in there, please. Okay. There's one. Okay, there's a second one. So now, shouldn't this snap together? Okay, so I think I've routed the black cable wrong. Yeah, there is like very obviously a path that it wants this to go. So a little something like this is what we're looking for. It'll sort itself out if I do that. So now we do the same thing again. There we go. That felt different. Fellas, I'm getting a little terrified now. What if it doesn't read a Game Boy game? That would be the worst, outcome here. Screens are bad, whatever, I'll just keep buying them until I get good at this. If it doesn't read a Game Boy game, that requires some significant solder skill. I'm not too worried about the digitizer here. The LCD, on the other hand, I think is about to get some use. The pink things are they're in the mail. Very nice. Bottom screen looks beautiful. Let's see if we still play a DS game. Okay, all of this works. So every button works. We read a game just fine. Now. Yes. Okay, sorry. That's what's up. Dudes! Okay, alright. I'm calling it a win. If you guys want me to bring it back and do the top screen again, I can bring it back and do the top screen again. Yeah, I'm calling that a win. It's a beautiful device now. Everything works. It has all the accessories, which is just crazy. So that brings us here. You just have to look at it. It's such an extreme angle to see it that I don't care about it. So I'm gonna leave it. That is gonna do it for this one. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like, and if you'd like to see more just like it, consider subscribing, and I will see you guys in the next video.